So we hit our ninth anniversary a few days ago. There's been a ton of change over the last 9 years. And we wanted to kind of take this moment to look back over the last 9 years and look forward as we got acquired by C1 about 6 months ago to start looking at what the future holds for us. So Eugene, thank you for joining me. Eugene Kazin, one of our founders and originators for Prime TSR. Let's look back a little bit. Prime TSR, we started as Silent IT 9 years ago. Talk a little bit about where we came from and who we are now.
Yeah, it's certainly been a journey. 9 years is a long time, and if you asked me 9 years ago, when Josh and I were just sitting actually across the street from this building, having lunch and talking about the concept of silent IT, I could not even imagine the journey that we would go through and all the different milestones and some pivots that we had to do along the way to get to where we are now. And it's been a fun ride. So 9 years is definitely a long time. Yeah, starting out as a consultancy that focused on scaling systems, and at some point pivoting by looking back on what we had done, the type of experience that we had gained, which happened in 2018, and we became Prime TSR, having that realization at the time that we are really good at transforming companies, not just technology for them. And TSR, by the way, stands for Tech Solutions Reimagined. And reinventing ourselves as a modernization consultancy was huge for us, and it gave us that sort of the rocket boost to get to where we are now. The top premier modernization shop, one of the fastest growing in the country, and aligning ourselves with our client, cloud partners, primarily AWS. It's been huge.
And that reimagining was actually the kind of the catapult then, right? It started us down that big partner push, helped realign the way that we actually talk about what we do, and really just changed the way our hiring profile came out, right?
So from day one, we focused on being different than other consultancies in a way that we wouldn't have a pyramid structure, meaning that you have very experienced experts at the top that usually come in to do sales when consulting organizations go and sell projects. But then when it comes to execution, you get sort of very junior folks, a lot of them, and you hope that the project gets delivered simply by sheer numbers. We wanted something different. We did not like it in our past lives before Prime TSR, this approach, and we decided that we were going to have no pyramid or very narrow pyramid full of experts that know what they're doing, and they have not just from the technical expertise perspective, but also industry backgrounds. So heavy focus on verticalization, industry verticals, was something that we were pursuing from day one, but we doubled down on it when we became Prime TSR. The other thing that came out, again, we sort of crystallized it by looking back at the previous 5 years of our existence, is this concept of bias for action. Frankly, we stole it from AWS when we became partners with them, and we started hearing this term when they were describing the approach that we did to deliver projects. And so we not only love the phrase bias for action, but it became one of our cultural pillars, and it's also something that we are looking for in the people that we hire. Right? We screen for it, and it's one of those non-negotiables when we bring a new person onto the team. Again, we are still at the end of the day a consulting company, a product building consulting company, but being able to delight customers, being able to have that drive for excellence and support your teammates is still a big focus of ours.
You just hit the side button on like culture, right? And if we hit bias for action and the type of folks that we actually focus on, that teamwork and community that keeps on getting built over the years, it's stayed true even from day one.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's always impressive, especially when you go through so much change like you guys have or we have.
Yeah. It's an effort to keep this going and make sure as we grow. Frankly, I think it's like the biggest single objective for us as a leadership team is to make sure that we don't lose the sight of these values and this culture as we get bigger. Because I've seen a number of companies, not just consulting, but just startups, that as they get bigger, these things sort of dissolve. And it's the role of the leadership team to make sure it's all held together, and the next level of leaders, the new generation of leaders, is still maintaining that focus.